Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well. Peace and blessings to you brothers out there that's kicking his word in sincerity, also in truth. We're living in some serious times, and it's about to get even more hectic through the spirit. We know that it's about to happen. The elder apostle Tohor has deemed this year the year of the Karagma, which is the mark of the beast. And we know that in order for the mark of the beast, to be fully pushed, that social unrest has to occur. So there's going to be a lot of judgment that's going to happen, to these various nations, in particular to America. And so we're here to tell our people, which consists of you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, so-called. We're here to tell you that, it's very important for us to remember, our Creator, and to really, really examine what He wants us to do and how He wants us to live, man. He wants us to repent and return back to, His ways that are, recorded in the Holy Scriptures, man. But we know that 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed and not going to listen. And also they're going to bug up against us, which we've been seeing this for quite a while now, in my short period of time being here, almost 10 years. I've seen, our own people bug up against us and try to ruin our, everyday lives, our jobs and things of that nature, just for simply telling the truth, you see. And so that's why it says, in the scriptures that it's so important to read, because we have, several accounts of our people where, our people coming up against the prophets, and trying to, physically harm them, or just simply not listen to them, fan their hand at the wisdom of Yahweh Bashim Shah. And one in particular that I'm reminded of is the prophet Jeremiah. The prophet Jeremiah prophesied for 41 years, and within him prophesying, he received a lot of criticism from his own people because he was seen as basically a sellout. He was letting our people know that the country of Judah was soon to be destroyed by the Babylonians, man, through basically war in between the Assyrians and the Babylonians. You see, our people didn't want to hear, in particular, the upper class, the various kings in which he prophesied against. You had, kings thrown into jail, people hitting them. You see what I'm saying? Shocking. Bringing up the role in which the Most High gave him, and then he gave it to Baruch and, presented it to the king, and the king just burned it up and was trying to even take him then, man. You see, but through all that turmoil that, Jeremiah went through, when, Judah was taken down by the Babylonians, Jeremiah was set free. And that's what we're looking for, man. We're looking to have his blood off our hands so we can, make it to the wilderness, man. And so within us making it to the wilderness, that we can be saved by Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. You see what I'm saying? Now, this book here that I'm showing you all, this is the King James Study Bible, the second edition. And this book is very, very edifying because it has a lot of a good commentary, that's useful when you're studying, man. And it gives, it gives you more edification on the scriptures because it gives you historical, historical facts, and also it's a good precept Bible. Okay, so when you read in this Bible, that I just prescribed, it has a commentary on the book before you actually read it. And in the commentary of the book of Jeremiah, I found it to be very intriguing because Jeremiah was persistent about his walk. He didn't allow people to deter him, his own people to deter him from what, Yahweh Shema Shah told him to do, which is preach the word and tell the truth to his people, man. And we are coming in that same light. Okay. Now, this is the commentary in the study Bible about the book of Jeremiah. And I'm just going to start at the historical setting. It says historical setting. The time frame of the prophet of Jeremiah stretched from the prophet's call to 627 BC until his later life among the Judean refugees in Egypt some years after the fall of Jerusalem in 586 BC. And I hope you brothers could see this, man. Salaki, I tried to doctor it up the best I could to, for it to be edifying. These were trying times for Judah. The nation was caught up in the rapidly changing political events in the Near East during the late 7th and early 6th century BC, where you had Assyria and Babylon warring with one another, and eventually Assyria was taken down by the Babylonians. You see, and Jeremiah was warning his people that the Babylonians were going to win against the Assyrians, you see. And ultimately it was because the Most High was displeased with, Judah and how they were constantly sinning, man, against Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. So he sent plagues upon them. And we're coming in that same light. We're telling our people that, the Most High is displeased with them. And he's going to send, sure destruction. You see. But a lot of our people, they're not going to listen. And they're in fact going to buck up. But we're supposed to be indifferent about that. Why? Because we're doing the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Quick precept. Now this is Jeremiah 1:16. And I will utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness, who have forsaken me and have burned incense unto other gods and worship the works of their own hands. Thou therefore gird up thy loins and arise and speak unto them all that I command thee. Be not dismayed at their faces, lest I confound thee before them. So when we were given this, like Jeremiah, we were given this knowledge. And if you want to get technical, we will give this knowledge from birth. Just like Jeremiah, if you read up in this chapter, I want to say around the 5th verse, you see, we were given this knowledge, not for us to, to be the smartest guy in the room. No, but he gave us his knowledge. He gave us his knowledge for us to warn our people about him. You see, and within us warning our people, what's going to happen? They're going to buck up against it, just like they did to Jeremiah. But here you have Yahweh Bashim Yahushua telling him, don't worry about what these people think about. Stay on your path of righteousness, man. Verse 18, for behold, I have made thee this day a defense city and an iron pillar and brazen wall against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, against the princes thereof, against the priests thereof, and against the people of the land. And they shall fight against thee, but they shall not prevail against thee. For I am with thee, saith Yahweh by Shema Shah, to deliver thee. So just like Jeremiah, when he started his ministry, he faced all types of obstacles that came from his own people. And that's what we deal with, man. The so-called white man didn't start calling us rapists. It was our own people. You know what I'm saying? The so-called white man seemingly isn't calling our place of business, our various place of businesses to get it to sabotage our businesses. Who's doing it? Our own people, man. You see? Well, why is that? Because our people are wicked as hell, and ultimately they're fulfilling prophecy. So when we see these things, we're not supposed to be disheartened. But what are we supposed to do? Trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and keep pushing. You see? Let's go back to the commentary. Now it says, the nation was caught up in the rapidly changing political events in the northeast during the late 7th and early 6th centuries BC. Although revival in religious reform followed the founding of the Book of the Law during the repair of the temple in 622 BC, and this is if you read in 2 Kings 22 and 8, you had it to where Jeremiah's father, I don't want to say it's Hilkiah, found a book of the law, you see, and gave it to Shaphan, and Shaphan gave it to the king Josiah, which was a righteous king. You see, and with that, he banned all types of idol worship, in the land of Judah. But soon after that, his sons came into power, and they were wicked. They were wicked, you see. And these are the very sons in which the prophet Jeremiah prophesied against, man. You see, the effects of Joshua's religious edicts were short-lived. Edicts means like a mandate or a law. With the death of the godly Josiah, Judah's apostasy. That word apostasy means to, let go of your religion. You see, quickly resurfaced. Jeremiah repeatedly warned of resulting judgment, which finally occurred through the event of the shifting Near Eastern political scene. Nabopolassar of Babylon defeated the Assyrians and Nineveh in 612 when Pharaoh Necho of Egypt moved to their aid. Josiah withstood Egypt at Megiddo at the cost of his life. Later, the retreating Egyptians took his son Jehoazar captive. Now you can read about that in 2 Kings 23, 31 to 33, and installed Josiah's second son, Jehoiakim. And this dude was wicked. He was a wicked king, man. Which worshiping all types of idols and things of that nature. And our forefather Jeremiah was prophesying against them. You see, on the throne, he was an apostate who persecuted Jeremiah and other true believers. He was later succeeded by his brother Jehoiachin, who was captured by Nebuchadnezzar at the same time Ezekiel was taken captive. Zedekiah, Josiah's third son, who then installed as king, 2 Kings 24 and 17. He too was ungodly, a king who persecuted Jeremiah and rejected his prophecies. Finally, in 586 BC, Nebuchadnezzar totally destroyed Jerusalem, and Zedekiah was blinded and led away in chains to Babylon. That's right. So when Zedekiah was killed, was blinded, he was literally his lives was plucked out. But before that, his two sons were killed in front of him, man, and then he was carried away in chains to Babylon in captivity. You see, and for 41 years, you had the prophet Jeremiah warning his people. You see what I'm saying? Warning his people. It's like I keep putting that notification on silent, but whatever. Back to it though. Although Jeremiah's message was one of inevitable judgment upon Judah, he also delivered news of great consolation. The Most High would yet deal anew with a repentant people in a great new covenant. And really, that's all I need on that. That's going to another topic. But the topic that I want to, focus on is, Jeremiah was a faithful prophet, against, these various odds, man, in which we're going to have to face. And Yahweh Shai warned us of similar situations that Jeremiah had to endure. You see? Now, this is Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And you seeing all this going on now. You seeing all the, these various countries, gearing up for war. The number of people in famines has risen substantially. I think 11% last year. I was doing some research on that. There's actually 51 countries that are currently in a state of famine. And a lot of those countries are those African countries that was stricken by war from the Great Babylonians, which is these Americans, man. You see, pestilence. You have a flu outbreak that's about to hit Texas. That's going to be at staggering rates that they're predicting, and also earthquakes. It's been earthquakes in very different places. We've since like 2008, we've been having a record amount of earthquakes just here in Texas, man. And Yahweh Shai said, "What? All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another." So it's going to get bad out here, because people are going to begin to hate us. They're going to start seeing us as a problem, man. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people are going to fall out in that time, man, because they're not going to be able to, stand the heat that's coming down the pipe. And most I wouldn't shoot. I'll be able to endure it, man. But it's going to be very serious, to be very serious and very uncomfortable. Just like in the time of Jeremiah, you had, kings, and things of that nature, prophets, plotting on Jeremiah. They were trying to get him killed, man. All because he had the words of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. You see, they were willing to falsely accuse him and get him thrown into prison. And they're gonna do the same thing to us. You see. Now this is Acts 4:1. And as they spake unto the people, the priests and the captain of the temple and the Sadducees came upon them. If you do your research on the Sadducees were the upper class Israelites that were basically over the temple, and they were basically agnostic, not agnostic, but Hellenists. That's where I'm looking for. Hellenists. They didn't believe in, hell. They didn't believe in spirits. They believed in free will, which is against the scriptures. There is no free will. There's either, doing what Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai told you to do, or rebellion. So there's no such thing as free will. It's ludicrous. if you're, an Israelite. But this is what our people believed in, you see. And they were against the believers because the apostles were waking our people up and they were messing with the Sadducees' money. So what do? Well, we're going to read about it. Verse 1, back to verse 1, Acts 4:1. And as they spake unto the people, the priests and the captain of the temple and the Sadducees came upon them, being grieved that they taught the people and preached through Yahushua the resurrection from the dead. And they laid hands on them and put them in hold unto the next day, for it was now evening time. Evening, tide. So here you are. You had, the apostles. They were preaching about Yahushua. You see, and it was grieved that people were listening. And so what did they do? They had the apostles locked up, and that's going to happen to us, and that happened again to our forefather Jeremiah, which is a beautiful example of somebody who endured. Now this is Jeremiah 38:1. Then Shephatiah, the son of Mattan, and Gedaliah, the son of Pashur, and Jukal, the son of Shalemiah, and Pashur, the son of Melchiah, heard the words that Jeremiah had spoken unto the people, saying, Thus saith Yahweh by Shemel, he that remaineth in the city shall die by the sword, and by famine, and by pestilence. But he that goeth forth to the Chaldeans shall live, for he shall have his life for a prey, and shall live. And because Jeremiah was letting Judah know, the land of Judah know that, guess what, man? Because of your apostasy, remember what that word apostasy means. It means to let go of your religious beliefs, in which this case our people had let go of, the law, statutes, and commandments, that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to allow that land to be destroyed. But you had the people that were the high priests, saying their sons and the kings and priests and things of that nature. They weren't trying to hear that, man. You see, they weren't trying to hear that, and for that, and for that reason, they considered Jeremiah a traitor. You see, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushua was dealing with Jeremiah. So regardless of what those people thought, it was all about the words that was bestowed to that prophet. You see, thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, this city shall surely be given to the hand of the kings of Babylon's army, which shall take it. Therefore the princes said unto the king, we beseech thee, let this man be put to death, for thus he weakeneth the hands of the man of war that remain in this city, and the hands of all the people, in speaking such words unto them. For this man seeketh not the welfare of this people, but the hurt. And they accuse us. You have various people out there that accuse us of this, that we don't care about our people because we're constantly cussing them out and reproving them. When in fact, we are showing them love because we're telling them the truth. We're not telling them that our people are going to prosper on this side, or we should be focused on prosperity on this side. The scriptures don't go into that. Scriptures prescribe, in particular Matthew 6, to store up your treasures in heaven, man. We need to be focused on getting the heck up out of here and pleasing the Lord. Just like Jeremiah was saying, man. You see, but our people weren't trying to hear that. They were too busy wanting to, survive in captivity. And for that, they were destroyed. Just like a lot of our people gonna be destroyed, man. You see. Back to the scriptures, verse 5. Then Zedekiah the king said, Behold, he is in your hand, for the king is not he that can do anything against you. And then took they Jeremiah and cast him into the dungeon of Melchiah, the son of Melech, and that was in the court of the prison, and they let down Jeremiah with cords, and in the dungeon there was no water but mire. So Jeremiah sunk in the mire. So these jokers put Jeremiah in done, man. Let me look up that word mire. Yeah, kind of slacky. I just wanted to make sure I was correct. That word mire really means mud or clay, and that's the word in Hebrew is dawath. I just want to, make sure that we are, I'm being correct. But, the point is they had our the prophet, basically in, filth, man. Why is that? For telling the truth. And that, a lot of our people, they're going to want that to happen to us. You see? But guess what? We're going to overcome in that time. You see what I'm saying? Why is that? Because the Most High is going to protect us. So when all hell breaks loose, we're going to eat. Just like our forefather Jeremiah. Now this is Jeremiah 39. In the 9th year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, in the 10th month, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and all his army against Jerusalem, and they besieged it. And in the 11th year of Zedekiah, in the 4th month, the 9th day of the month, the city was broken up. And all the princes of the king of Babylon came in and sat in the middle gate, even Nargal, Sazar, Samgarn, Nebo, Shechem, Rob, Saris, Nargal, Sazar, Rabmeg, with all the residue of the princes of the kings of Babylon. And it came to pass that when Zedekiah the king of Judah saw this, and all the men of war, then they fled and went forth out of the city by night, by the way of the king's garden, by the gate betwixt the two walls, and he went out the way of the plain. But the Chaldeans' army pursued after them and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho. And when they had taken him, they brought him up to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to Riblah, and in land of Hamath, where he gave judgment of Babylon, slew the sons of Zedekiah in Riblah before his eyes. Also the king of Babylon slew all the nobles of Judah. Moreover, he put out Zedekiah's eyes and bound him with chains to carry him to Babylon. Now, for the second time, I didn't read that whole chapter in chapter 38, the previous chapter I was just reading. If you read down in that chapter, Jeremiah was telling Zedekiah, like, look, I beseech you, man, listen to me, man. Just do what the Babylonians say and you'll be fine. But Zedekiah's mind was made up that he was going to rebel against them. And what happened? Well, he was destroyed, man. His kids were killed in front of him. Then they plucked his eyes out. So the last memory that he would have would be his kids being killed. That's ruthlessness, man. You see, and this is coming to our people. You know, a lot of our people who want that clout want to be seen as, the leaders of Israel, or the leader of so-called black people, or Latinos and Native Americans. Guess what? When the Lord visits this place, man, the Most High is going to destroy, these people in these high positions. Why is that? Because they haven't, warned our people of what's to come. You see? But what's going to happen to Jeremiah? Let's keep on reading. And the Chaldeans burnt the king's house and the house of the people with fire, and break down the walls of Jerusalem. So I'm trying to finish this. Where was I at? Verse 8. And the Chaldeans burned the king's house and the houses of the people with fire, and break down the walls of Jerusalem. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive into Babylon the remnant of the people that remained in the city, and those that fell away, they fell to him with the rest of the people that remained. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left the poor of the people which had nothing in the land of Judah, and gave them vineyards and fields at the same time. Now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, gave charge concerning Jeremiah to Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, saying, take him and look well to him, and do him no harm, but do unto him even as he shall say unto thee. So Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, sent, and Nebuchadnezzar, Rob Saris, and Nargal-Zarazan, Rabmag, and all the king of Babylon's princes. Even they sent and took Jeremiah out of the court of the prison, and committed him unto Gedaliah, the son of Hakim, the son of Shaphan, that he should carry him home. So he dwelt with the people. That's right. So as Jerusalem was being destroyed, guess what? Jeremiah was delivered. Why is that? Because he did what Yahweh told him to do. You see, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to be delivered like our forefather Jeremiah in a time of Jacob's trouble. Okay? Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah.